Okay, so I'm going to read to you the first 170 lines of Book 23. This is your homework, and I want you to follow along. The old nurse went upstairs exulting, with knees toiling and patter of slapping feet, to tell the mistress of her lord's return, and cried out by the lady's pillow, "Wake, wake up, dear child! Penelope, come down. See with your own eyes what all these years you longed for. Odysseus is here. Oh, and in the end he came. And he has killed your suitors, killed them all who made this house a bordel and ate his cattle and raised their hand against his son." Penelope said, "Dear nurse, the gods have touched you. They can put chaos in the clearest head or bring a lunatic down to earth. Good sense you always had. They touched you. What is this mockery you wake me up to tell me, breaking in on my sweet sleep the sweet spell of sleep? I had not dozed away so tranquilly since my lord went to war on that ill wind to Ilion. Oh, leave me, back downstairs. If any other of my women came in babbling things like these to startle me, I'd see her flogged out of the house. Your old age spares you that." Eurycleus said, "Would I play such a trick on you, dear child? It is true, true, as I tell you. He has come. The stranger they were baiting was Odysseus. Telemachus knew it days ago. His cool head never gave his father away till he paid off those swollen dogs." The lady, in her heart's joy, now sprang up with sudden dazzling tears and hugged the old one, crying out, "But try to make it clear. If he came home in secret, as you say, could he engage them single-handed? How?" They were all down there, still in the same crowd. To this, Eurycleus said, "I did not see it. I knew nothing. Only heard the groans of men dying. We sat still in the inner room, holding our breath and marveling, shut in, till Telemachus came to the door and called me, your own dear son, sent this time by his father. So out I went. I found Odysseus erect, with dead men littering the floor this way and that. If you had only seen him, it would have made your heart glow hot, a lion splashed in mire and blood. But now the cold corpses are all gathered at the gate, and he has cleansed his hall with fire and brimstone, a great blaze. Then he sent me here to you. Come with me. You may both embark this time for happiness together after pain, after long years. Here is your prayer, your passion, granted. Your own Lord lives, and he is at home. He found you safe. He found his son. The suitors abused his house, but he has brought them down." The attentive lady said, "Do not lose yourself in this rejoicing. Wait. You know how splendid that return would be for us, how dear to me, dear to his son and mine. But no, it is not possible. Your notion must be wrong. Some god has killed the suitors, a god, sick of their arrogance and brutal malice, for they honored no one living, good or bad, whoever came their way. Blind young fools, they've tasted death for it. But the true person of Odysseus, he lost his home, he died far from Achaia." The old nurse sighed. "How queer the way you talk. He is here, large as life by his own fire, and you deny that he will ever get home? Child, you always were mistrustful. But there is one sure mark, I can tell you. The scar left by the boar's tusk long ago. I recognized it when I bathed his feet and would have told you, but he stopped my mouth, forbade me in his craftiness. Come down. I stake my life on it. He's here. Let me die in agony if I lie." Penelope said, "Nurse dear, though you have your wits about you, still it is hard not to be taken in by the immortals. Let us join my son, though, and see the dead and the strange one who killed him." She turned then to descend the stair, her heart in tumult. Had she better keep her distance and question him, her husband? Should she run up to him, take his hands, kiss him now? Crossing the door-sill, she sat down at once in firelight against the nearest wall, across the room from the Lord Odysseus. There, leaning against a pillar, sat the man and never lifted up his eyes, but only waited for what his wife would say when she had seen him. And she, for a long time, sat deathly still in wonderment. For something, as she gazed, she found him, yes, clearly, like her husband, but sometimes blood and rags were all she saw. Telemachus's voice came to her ear. Mother, cruel mother, do you feel nothing, drawing yourself apart this way from father? Will you not sit with him and talk and question him? What other woman would remain so cold? Who shuns her lord? And he has come back to her from wars and wandering after 20 years? Your heart is hard as flint and never changes. Penelope answered, I am stunned, child. I cannot speak to him. I cannot question him. I cannot keep my eyes upon his face. If really he is Odysseus, truly home, beyond all doubt, we too shall know each other, better than you or anyone. There are secret signs, we know, we too. A smile came now to the lips of the patient hero Odysseus, who turned to Telemachus and said, Peace, let your mother test me at her leisure. Before long she will see and know me best. These tatters, dirt, all that I'm caked with now, make her look hard at me and doubt me still. As to this massacre, we must see the end. Whoever kills one citizen you know, and has no force or armed men at his back, had better take himself abroad by night and leave his kin. Well, we cut down the flower of Ithaca, the mainstay of the town. Consider that. Telemachus replied respectfully, Dear father, enough that you yourself study the danger, foresighted in combat as you are, they say you have no rival. We three stand ready to follow you and fight. I say, for what our strength avails, we have the courage. And the great tactician Odysseus answered, Good, here is our best maneuver, as I see it. Bathe, you three, and put fresh clothing on. Order the women to adorn themselves, and let our admirable harper choose a tune for dancing, some light-hearted air, and strum it. Anyone going by, or any neighbor, will think the wedding feast he hears. These deaths must not be cried about the town till we can slip away in our own woods. We'll see what weapon then Zeus puts in our hands. They listened attentively and did his bidding, bathed and dressed afresh, and all the maids adorned themselves. Then Phemos the harper took his polished shell and plucked the strings, moving the company to desire, for singing, for the sway of beat and dancing, until they made the manor hall with gaiety of men and grace of women. Anyone passing on the road would say, Married at last, I see, the queen so many courted, sly cattish wife. She would not keep, not she, the lord's estate until he came.